Just ask you to read pages 104 and 105 to yourself, not out loud. Yes, please. So does that refresh your memory as to the conversation you had with Deontay Thompson at or near the start of the party at Club 21?
I see, you know, that's what I said, but I still can't really remember the conversation.
All right, well, putting aside the conversation you had with Deontay Thompson, based upon a conversation, did you do something or give something to Deontay?
Probably.
Well, what did you probably give to Deontay?
It's sustained in that form.
Do you recall giving something to Deontay, Mr. Hernandez?
Probably, maybe. If I said I gave him something, then right now, you know, it's been 4 years, you know. At the time, what was going on at that time wasn't my concern. I was too busy worrying about the party because I had to get all that situated. Everything else, you know.
Now, do you recall when you came to the grand jury in 2015, were you under oath? Did you raise your hand and swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
And do you recall being asked the question when you got there or immediately before, did you have a conversation with Deontay Thompson? Do you recall being asked that question?
Objection to proper detail. Excuse me? Proper detail. I'll see you inside, Mark.
Approach witness, Your Honor.
You may.
So I'm going to leave a copy of testimony in front of you, and I'm going to ask you to go to a particular line and page. So we're calling your attention to page 104, line 15. Can you go there, sir? Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question that's on that page, on that particular line. I'd ask you to read the answer. Question: when you get there or immediately before, did you have a conversation with Deontay Thompson about a gun? Can you give the answer, please?
On line 17,
Yes, please.
it says, yeah, before we pulled off, he asked me, did I mind if he borrowed my gun for the night?
Keep going.
Just for protection or whatever, because he didn't bring his own gun from Baltimore.
Question, line 21, did you agree to give him your gun? Answer.
Do I have to say answer line 22?
You could just read the answer on line 22.
Yes. Well, the answer says yes.
Question on line 23, did he say why he needed a gun? What was your answer?
It was, no, he didn't. He just said, you know, sometimes Belgrade get rough. I don't want anyone to think I got money on me or try to rob me or anything. So just for protection.
For the record, now on page 105. And I'll stop right there for now, Mr. Hernandez. Did you, in fact, give Deontay Thompson your gun?
I mean, if that's what it says here, you know, I probably did. I can't remember.
Or do you recall after the party ended, do you recall whether or not you went to the hotel room to get the gun back?
After the party ended, I went home.
After the party, you went home. What about the next day?
I mean, if I did give him the gun, I had to get it back. So
Well, let me have you refer to page 107 of the grand jury minutes, please. And I'd like you to go to line 10.
what
Are you
page?
there, sir?
What page?
107. Are you on line 10, sir?
Yes.
All right, question, what happened the next morning? Can you read your answer, please?
Answer says, I called Deontay, he didn't answer. So I called Max. I was like, I'm about to go to Miami with one of my boys and his girl and my girl. So I'm going to come over and pick up my gun. He was like, yeah, all right, whatever.
And the question, line 16, you got over where? To the same hotel? What was your answer?
The answer says the same hotel.
Question, line 18, and what happened when you got to the room? What was your answer?
Answer, went to the room. Max was sitting on one of the couch. And it says, Alexander was sitting on another couch that was blank.
And then question, Alexander Bradley, what was your answer?
Yeah, they was up talking. I was like, where the gun is? He told me where it was. I went and got it, and that was that.
Okay, next page, page 108. Question, where was the gun? Can you state what your answer was?
Answer,
Line 2, page 108.
I got to say, to the best of my knowledge, 2 years it happened 2 years ago. It was either under a hat or by a hat or in a drawer by a hat. I don't know, something like that.
Question, but you found the gun somewhere in the hotel room?
Yeah, it was in, it says, yeah, it was in the hotel room.
Question, and it was your gun, what was your answer?
Yes, it was my gun.
And was Deontay in the room that morning as well, sir?
I only remember, I don't even really remember going to pick it up.
Okay. So we're going to have call your attention to page 109, line 2.
All right.
I'm sorry, line 4. The question was Deontay awake or asleep when what was your answer?
He was asleep.
Question, and you took that gun, answer?
Yep, and we left.
Mr. Hernandez, over the next few nights after the Super Bowl party at Club 21, did you still hang out with Deontay or Aaron Hernandez or anyone?
No, I didn't see them basically after the party.
So you didn't see them at all, even into the 13th or 14th of February?
No.
Mr. Hernandez, I'm just going to show you a page from what's been entered as Exhibit 251. Entry number 166. The name Papoo, with a particular phone number, 561-755-0678. Was that your phone number back then, sir?
Yes.
That same exhibit number, sir, on page 8. Entry 115. Do you recognize this 404 number here, sir?
No, sir.
You don't?
Is that no?
No.
Lastly, Mr. Hernandez, is it fair to state that following the Super Bowl party on February 8th, the year 2013, did you maintain at least some type of friendship or relationship with Aaron Hernandez?
We always maintained a relationship since we met, so.
And following that morning when you went to the hotel room and as we had you read the testimony from the grand jury where the gun was, you took the gun back from the hotel room and you saw Alexander Bradley. Did you ever see Alexander Bradley after that date, other than perhaps on the news?
No.
I'm sorry, what was the answer?
No.
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Mr. Bias.
Yes, sir. Police Court, Mr. Hagan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
We've never spoken before, right?
No.
And so I'm clear. They flew you from Florida to testify?
Yes.
And what you've been able to tell them is that you did some flyers?
Flyers for the party, set the party up, arranged the party,
Okay.
everything.
And that there were 20 to 30 guys at your house before the party?
Probably more.
And about 10, 15 guys at the hotel room?
Yep.
And that you legally owned a gun,
Yes.
and that you loan it to Deontay, right?
If that's what happened, I can't remember.
Okay. And you took it back the next day.
If that's what.
That's what's in
Yeah.
the grand jury testimony, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and this was the day after the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been the 8th, and you picked it up the 9th.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then after that, you didn't see anybody else again.
No.
And you never loaned the gun to Aaron.
No.
Okay, and because you had the gun, you never would have, well, you had the gun in your possession
Yes.
after that, right?
A month after that, the gun got taken by police and Palm Beach County Sheriffs. So they had the gun. They had the gun ever since.
And no one's ever tied that gun to any shooting at all.
No.
Okay. So, and what Bradley did after, well, I guess that's the last time you ever saw Bradley.
Yeah. So that's not.
Okay, so you can't account for any of his other time in Florida?
No.
Or what he was up to,
No.
who he was with,
Nope.
or whether he was up to no good or up to good?
Objection.
Overruled. You don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think I have any further questions. Let me just have them. No further questions?
Just a couple quick questions. Just in regards to what Mr. Baez just asked you, you saw Aaron Hernandez at the hotel room first in West Palm Beach when he delivered the flyers, correct?
Yes.
And was Alexander Bradley with him?
He was at the hotel, I guess.
When you saw Mr. Hernandez in front of your house with a group of people before the party, was Alexander Bradley with him?
I can't remember seeing him in front of the house.
Well, didn't you just testify during direct to seeing him in front of the house?
No. I don't think he asked me about in front. He said he said how many guys were in front of the house. He said maybe 20 or 30, and I said yes, or maybe more.
So you have page 103 in front of you? Page 103. And the question was asked whether or not the group in front of your house, does that include Aaron Hernandez? What was your answer?
Yes.
And the next question, and Alexander Bradley, what was your answer?
So yes, he was there.
And then when you next saw Aaron Hernandez was at Club 21, the Super Bowl party, correct?
Well, we took off in separate cars, you know. So I seen him. I seen him in the club, but I don't know how long he stayed, or
But Alexander Bradley was in the club as well.
I suppose, I guess.
And then the next morning, when you went to get the gun, Alexander Bradley was there as well, correct?
If
Well, what we read in
if
the
that was my
transcript.
grand jury testimony says, and
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Thank you, sir. You may step down, please. Watch your step. I'm welcome.
Sir, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give this court and jury and the issue now pending between the Commonwealth and the defendant at the bar shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir. Kindly follow the officer.
Mr. Lee.
Thank you. If you wouldn't mind, could you just introduce yourself to the members of the jury and spell your last name, please?
Tyrone Crawford, Crawford.
Mr. Crawford, how old are you, sir?
25,
And where did you grow up, sir?
Belgrade, Florida.
All right. And do you still currently reside in Belglade?
I stay at Pahokee.
Pahokee?
Yes,
Okay. Do you work, sir?
yes.
And what kind of work do you do?
Farm work, driving forklift,
And how long have you been doing that?
about 2 or more years.
How far did you go in school?
Graduated high school.
Did you spend any time either in community college or a university?
I went to community college, but I didn't finish.
All right. How long did you spend in community college?
I'm not sure how long.
Mr. Crawford, do you know a person by the name of Deontay Thompson?
Yes.
All right. And how is it that you know Mr. Thompson?
You say how?
How is it that you know him?
From the neighborhood, playing football.
And did Mr. Thompson grow up in Belglade?
Yes.
How long have you known him for?
Like since my childhood.
Do you know what Mr. Thompson does for a living now?
Yes, playing in the NFL.
Okay. Do you know what team he plays for?
No, sir.
Do you know where he played his football in college?
University of Florida.
Do you know a person named Jarrell Pierre?
Yes.
All right. And how do you know Mr. Pierre?
Same way I know Deontay.
All right. And is it fair to say you've known Mr. Pierre for most of your life as well?
Yes.
Did Mr. Pierre grow up in Belglade?
Yes.
Did you know Mr. Pierre by any other name or a nickname other than Jarrell?
Nah, that's why I know him by Jarrell.
I'm sorry?
That's why I know him by Jarrell.
Okay. Have you ever heard him called JP or J?
Yeah, I call him J. They call him JP. That's an abbreviation.
And how would you describe your friendship through the years with both of those people, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Pierre?
I mean, not too close, but it was a friendship. We associated like being from the hood, the same neighborhood.
You didn't have any problems with either one of those men?
No.
I want to direct your attention to February of 2013, and a little bit more specifically, February 8th of 2013. Do you remember the Super Bowl that year?
Not really.
Okay. Do you remember who won the Super Bowl that year?
Not really.
Were you aware, Mr. Crawford, that your friend Deontay played in the Super Bowl?
Yes, I think. Well,
Okay. And do you know what team he played for in 2013?
I think it was Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah, I think it was Ravens.
And at some point after the Ravens won the Super Bowl, did Deontay or Mr. Thompson have a Super Bowl party in Belgrade?
Yes, that's what I heard.
And where was that party taking place?
I heard it was at Club 21.
And where is Club 21? Is Club 21 in Belgrade?
Yes.
All right. Is that a club or a place that you had been to on prior occasions?
Yeah, I've been in a couple times.
Now, back then, did you know an individual by the name of Aaron Hernandez?
Back when,
Back in February of 2013, did you know who Aaron Hernandez was?
I mean, I heard of him.
All right. And what had you heard of him?
Played in the NFL.
All right. Did you know where Mr. Hernandez went to school?
Yes, Florida.
All right. Had you ever met him before?
No,
Do you know what he looked like?
not really.
Would you recognize him today?
Yes, I would recognize.
Do you see him in the
today.
courtroom today?
Yes.
Okay. Would you please point to him and indicate an article of clothing that he's wearing?
He's got a gray sweater.
Gray sweater. Is he sitting at counsel table?
Yes.
Okay. And is he sitting in the middle?
I mean, he's sitting to the right of the woman.
We'll stipulate that.
So noted.
Now, on the forgive me if you answer this question, but were you aware of a party that Mr. Thompson was throwing after the Super Bowl?
I mean, I don't really remember.
Okay. I'm talking about now the party we're talking about at Club 21, what you just talked about.
I didn't really remember.
Okay. Are you not remembering from a minute or two ago?
Yes, minute. I mean, you just talked about it. Yeah.
Okay. A minute or two ago, did you not tell us that he was throwing a party at Club 21?
Well, I think the witness said he'd heard of a party.
Heard of a party. You heard about the party. Did you go to that party?
I mean, I don't remember. I was speaking with you when I said I heard about it. When me and you went over the grand jury testimony.
Okay. And did you go to that party?
Not that I recall. I don't remember if I did.
Do you remember whether Mr. Hernandez went to that party at Club 21?
No, I don't remember.
Is there something that I can show you that might refresh your memory?
Is there?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. If you could.
First of all, I'm going to ask you to take a look at what I just handed to you. You recognize that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. You recognize that because you've read it, correct?
Yes.
You read it last night,
Yes.
and you read it today?
Yes.
Now, I want to specifically refer you to page number 9. And referring you to lines 1, 2, and 3. Does that refresh your memory at all as to whether Mr. Hernandez was present for the party?
I mean, like I said, I don't really remember.
Do you remember picking Mr. Hernandez up to go to the party?
No, I don't remember anything.
Excuse me?
I don't remember anything dealing with it.
You don't remember anything?
Not that.
Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember whether you went to the party?
Nah, I don't remember.
Do you remember whether anybody went to the party that you know of?
No.
Okay. This was a party thrown by a childhood friend of yours. Is that correct?
I mean,
Well, try my question.
I didn't say it was a childhood friend, but I just know him.
All right.
So he wasn't really a friend. I mean, we're associates from the neighborhood, and we weren't real close friends. You could say we were friends, but my true friend, he's not really true friend of mine.
My question is, were you aware that he was throwing a Super Bowl party on February 8th of 2013?
This has been asked and answered.
Well, let's try it one more time.
You say what?
Do you remember whether Mr. Thompson threw a Super Bowl party on February 8th of 2013 at Club 21 in Belglade, Florida?
Nah, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I didn't remember.
You remember hearing about the party?
I mean, after reading the grand jury testimony and all that, discussing it,
And without telling us what was said, who did you hear about the party from?
I mean, from you guys.
That's who you found out from?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I refresh my memory about the part I really don't recall.
You don't recall the party at all?
No, sir.
Do you recall anybody in Belglade going to the party?
No, sir.
Were you in Belglade when the party took place?
I don't really recall, sir.
Do you remember going at any time to the Palm Beach International Airport to pick somebody up to go to the party with?
No, I don't remember.
And you don't remember, sir, whether you went to the party?
No, sir.
Can I direct your attention to page number 12? Actually, page number 13, please.
Mr. Lee, are you refreshing recollection here?
Yes. And I'm going to ask you to read lines 2, 3, 4, and 5 to yourself, please. Then I'm going to ask you to look at lines 18 and 19. Then I'm also going to ask you to take a look at page 12 and look at lines 15, 16, 17, and 18. And the document that you're looking at, sir, is the same document you read yesterday and today. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Does that refresh your recollection as to whether you went to the party on February 8th of 2013
Not really.
at Club 21?
Not really.
Your Honor, may we approach at this time?
Yes. Just one moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you some more exercise. A very brief recess. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the testimony, I want to give you an instruction as to the testimony or the evidence you're about to hear and evidence that I suspect you will be hearing through the course of this afternoon as it relates to this witness, Mr. Crawford. Remember, I explained to you what hearsay was. Hearsay being a statement made out of court, now offered for the truth of what was said in that out-of-court statement. And that typically we do not allow hearsay. That is, we do not allow out-of-court statements made elsewhere, to be introduced for the truth of what was said. There are some exceptions, and one of them is what we're about to encounter. That is, questioning of this witness as to prior testimony, sworn testimony that he provided to a grand jury in 2014. And under certain circumstances that apply right now, a witness's prior sworn testimony may be considered for the truth of what it said. That is, it was made out of this courtroom, but it is admissible for the truth of what the witness said on that prior occasion. And you may consider it substantively, that is, as substantive evidence of what the witness stated on that earlier occasion. I expect when the Commonwealth has completed its direct examination that the defense will question this witness not only about what may have been said in the grand jury, that prior testimony, but also perhaps questioning the witness about statements that he made other than before the grand jury, that is, statements to police officers or prosecutors or others. As to those statements that were not under oath, not before a grand jury, you may consider any prior statements of any witness to the extent their prior statement was in some way inconsistent with their sworn testimony. That is, it's what we call impeachment evidence, the fact that a witness made a statement on an earlier occasion that is different from the testimony that is given. Then you may consider that in determining whether to accept the witness's testimony and in determining a witness's credibility, that is, their believability as a witness and as to the testimony that they've offered. So I expect that we may see the use of prior statements in both of those categories, that is, the prior sworn testimony that is admitted for the truth of what was said, and prior statements not under oath to police, prosecutors, or others admitted to impeach, that is, as inconsistent with this witness's grand jury testimony or inconsistent with this witness's in-court testimony, that is, before you. With that said, by way of explanation, Mr. Lee.
Before we get right to that, Mr. Crawford, I just want to ask you, do you understand that your testimony here today for this jury is being given under what's known as a grant of immunity?
Yes.
All right. And prior to testifying today, did you have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Buck, your attorney, about what it means to testify?
Judge.
Sustained in that form.
Did you speak to Mr. Buck prior to testifying today?
Yes.
Single objection.
Do you understand what it means to testify under a grant of immunity?
Objection.
Just yes or no?
No, that may be answered yes or no.
Yes.
Mr. Crawford, you were asked before we broke about whether you recalled going to pick up Mr. Hernandez from the airport in anticipation of the Super Bowl party. You remember being asked that question?
Yes.
Okay. You also remember testifying in the grand jury in connection with this case. Is that true?
Excuse me?
You testified in the grand jury?
Yes, according
Okay,
to
that's the document that you have right in front of you, right?
Yes.
And you were sworn before you testified? You took an oath?
Yes.
All right. I want to refer you to page number 9 of your grand jury testimony, if you would. Line number 1. Question. Calling your attention now to that night or the day before leading up to the party, did you ever go to the airport to pick up Aaron Hernandez? Answer: it wasn't that night. I forget what day. I don't know. I got the dates mixed up when we picked him up from the hotel from the airport. Question: you might not know the exact date, but do you recall going with someone to pick up Aaron Hernandez? Answer: yes. I rode with Deontay to pick him up. Question: when you picked him up, what airport did you pick him up at? Answer: at Palm Beach International. Question: was he alone or with somebody? Answer: he was with somebody. Question: one person or more than one? Answer: one person. Question: what can you tell us about that person? What do you remember about him? Answer: that was his friend. Question: do you remember what his name was? Answer: his name was Rock. Did I read that accurately, Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Okay, did I make any mistakes?
No.
Okay, is that what you told the grand jury on August 15th of 2014?
I mean, yes, according to this.
Now, the individual that you were introduced to as Rock, is that somebody that you had ever seen before or met before?
No, sir.
No, you had never seen him before.
No.
Now, at the time, you and Mr. Thompson were at the airport. Do you recall what car you went in? What kind of a car?
Yeah. I don't really remember.
You don't remember? Okay. Referring you to page 10 of your grand jury testimony, line 17. Question: when you and Deontay Thompson picked him up at the airport, he and Aaron Hernandez, was that the first time you met Aaron Hernandez? Answer: yes. Question: what kind of a car were you in? Answer: we was in a Porsche, a white Porsche. Question: a white Porsche sedan or a white Porsche SUV? Answer: it was a 4-door Porsche. Question: whose Porsche? Answer: it was a renter. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
Yes.
Is that what you told the grand jury on August 15th of 2014?
I mean, yes, according to this.
Now, after you, Mr. Thompson, after you and Mr. Thompson picked up Mr. Hernandez and the person that you were introduced to as Rock, where did you go?
Based on my testimony, say we went to the hotel.
Okay, based on your testimony or based on what you remember?
Based on this paperwork.
Okay. And you went to a hotel? Where was the hotel that you went to?
It was right off I-95.
Right off I-95. Do you remember any landmarks or anything nearby that stood out to you about the hotel that might help you remember anything about it? There was a racetrack?
Gas station.
Tell us about the racetrack.
Just know it's a gas station.
It's a gas station known as a racetrack, or
I think that's the name of it.
is that a place that you'd ever seen prior to that day?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
Probably, I'm not sure.
And the name of the gas station was what?
Objection, Judge. It's been asked and answered. Gas station.
I'm sorry?
It's a gas station. He's asking the same question about a gas station.
Well, do you remember the formal name of the gas station?
He answered, it's a racetrack.
Please.
That's the name of the gas station.
Are you telling me, or
No, he's answered, the witness has answered.
is that your memory? Or
According
is
to
that
this,
what you testified?
excuse me?
Is that what you testified at the grand jury?
Yes, that's what I testified.
All right.
It's called a racetrack.
Yes.
What did you do when you, Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Thompson, and Rock got to the hotel?
I don't really remember.
You don't remember? Referring you to page 11 of your grand jury testimony, line 17, question, this hotel, did you end up going inside with Aaron Hernandez and his friend Deontay Thompson? Answer, Deontay Thompson. Question, you went inside the hotel? Answer, yes, we went inside. Question, how many rooms were rented inside the hotel, if you know? Answer, I think it was 2, I'm not sure. Question, who was staying overnight at the hotel? Answer, who stayed overnight? Me, Deontay, Max Brown. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
Yes.
Is that what you told the grand jury on August 14th of 2015?
Yes, according to this.
Do you know Max Brown?
Yes.
And how do you know Max Brown?
Through Deontay.
I'm sorry?
Through Deontay.
Through Deontay. And how long had you known him as of 2013?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember whether Mr. Hernandez and his friend stayed in a room of their own at the hotel?
He stayed in a different room.
Stayed in a different room than the one that you were in?
Yes.
And did you stay overnight, sir?
I think I did.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you attend the Super Bowl party after you picked up Mr. Hernandez and Rock with Mr. Thompson at the airport? Did you end up going to the Super Bowl party that Mr. Thompson was throwing?
I mean, according to the paper, yes, I attended.
According to the paperwork, are you talking about your testimony in front of the grand jury?
Yes.
Okay. And so you did go to that party. Is that what your testimony is?
Yes.
Okay. And did Mr. Hernandez and his friend Rock go to that party?
According to the paper, yes, they were there.
Okay. Did you see them there?
Yes, according to the paperwork.
Okay. Well, my question to you is, did you see them there? And you're saying that you did see them there, or that's what the grand jury's saying? Is that what you told the grand jury?
Yeah, that's what I told the grand jury.
Okay. You told the grand jury that you saw Mr. Hernandez and his friend there, correct?
Judge leading.
No, over. You may answer.
You can ask the question again.
You told the grand jury that you same Porsche that you used to pick up Mr. Hernandez and his friend Rock at the airport.
I don't really remember.
Okay. Did there come a time after that evening when you went to Tootsie's?
I don't really remember.
Referring you to your grand jury testimony on page 14, line 21. Question, what about the next night? Did you go out with them to another club? Answer, I think that was the next night that we went out to Tootsie's. Question, who went to Tootsie's and how many cars were you? Answer, went in 2 cars. Deontay, Aaron, Max, and Aaron's friend, they went in the white Porsche, and me, Jarrell, Black, we went in the car. I forgot what kind of car he was driving. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
Yes.
Is that what you told the grand jury on August 15th of 2014?
Yes, according to this.
So you went to Tootsie's with that same group. Now, that wasn't the only time you went to Tootsie's in that time period, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You went on a second night. Is that true?
Yes.
Now, the first night, do you remember the kind of car not the Porsche, but the car that you were traveling in? Do you remember what kind of a car it was?
No, I don't remember the exact car.
So you don't recall the kind of car that you were driving in?
No.
Now, you said you went to Tootsie's for a second evening. Do you remember? We'll strike that. Going back to the first night in the car that you were in, referring you to page 15 of your grand jury testimony, line number 22. Question. So the first night, you don't know what car he was driving, is that correct? Answer. If I'm not mistaken, and I don't want to be wrong, but I think he was driving either a black Charger or a red Chrysler. Or, I don't really remember what car he was driving, sir. It was so long ago. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
Yes.
Now, referring you now to the second night at Tootsie's. Do you remember, sir, when you went to Tootsie's on that night, did the defendant go, did Mr. Hernandez accompany you to Tootsie's?
Can you ask the question again?
On the second night to Tootsie's, do you remember whether Mr. Hernandez and his friend went?
Not too clear, but I think they went.
Okay. You think that Mr. Hernandez and his friend went?
Yes.
Referring you to page 19, specifically with respect to the first three lines.
Objection, Judge. It was testified that in the affirmative.
I believe his testimony was he
What a
thought.
question.
Referring you to page 19 and the first three lines, does that refresh your memory as to whether Mr. Hernandez went the second night?
I mean, I don't really remember, but according to this, he went.
Okay. According to your grand jury testimony, question, line number 1, page 19. So who went to Tootsie's Club the second night, the last night? Answer, it was me, Jarrell, Aaron, Jarrell's friend. Did I read that correctly?
Which line? Which?
Lines 1, 2, and 3. Question, so who went to Tootsie's Club the second night, the last night? Answer, it was me, Jarrell, Aaron, Jarrell's friend. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
All right, now referring you to page 20 of your grand jury testimony. Line number 2, question, so he was there, Jarrell was there, you were there, and who else? Answer, and Aaron and his friend. Question, Aaron and his friend, what time did you get to Tootsie's if you know? Answer, I don't really remember what time it was. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so you told the grand jury on August 15th of 2014 that Mr. Hernandez and his friend did go to Tootsie's on the second night.
Yes, according to this.
Now, do you remember on the second night to Tootsie's whether Deontay was part of the crowd?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay, referring you to page 18 of your grand jury testimony. Line 18, question, where did you go that night and who went and in what cars? Answer, we went to Tootsie's. Deontay didn't go this night. Question, where was Deontay? Answer, he was at, I don't know where he was, but I know he was spending that day with his girlfriend because it was his birthday and she flew in and they did something for his birthday. I don't really know what he did or anything. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
Yes.
And that's what you told the grand jury on August 15 of 2014? Yes?
Yes.
Now, when you described the group that went to Tootsie's on the second night, you recall identifying Jarrell's friend as one of the people who went with the group to Tootsie's.
I don't understand your question.
Okay. You listed the number of people or the group of people that went to Tootsie's the second night. You remember testifying, or do you remember describing in your grand jury testimony one of the people as being Jarrell's friend? Do you remember that?
I mean, I don't really remember. I mean,
Okay.
if I
Referring you to your grand jury testimony on page 19, line number 1. Question, so who went to Tootsie's Club the second night, the last night? Answer, it was me, Jarrell, Aaron, Jarrell's friend. Question, what is Jarrell's friend's name? Answer, I don't know his real name, I just know his nickname. Question, what's the nickname? Answer, Soldier. Question, Soldier. Answer, yeah. Did I read those questions and answers correctly?
yes.
How do you know Soldier?
I'm not sure. I guess through Jarrell.
Do you know what part of Florida he's from?
He's from Riviera.
Riviera?
Yes.
Now, once you got to Tootsie's, do you recall there being any discussion between Mr. Hernandez and his friend Rock about who was going to pay the bill or questions about the bill?
No, I don't really remember.
Do you remember how long you were at Tootsie's for before all of you left?
I testified that it was at least a couple of hours.
All right. And that's what you told the grand jury in August of 2014?
Yes.
All right. When you finally did leave Tootsie's, Mr. Crawford, who did you leave? Was it dark or light out when you left?
It's late.
I'm sorry?
It was late.
It was late?
Yeah.
Was it? Do you remember whether it was dark or light?
Yeah, it was dark.
It was dark. And what vehicle did you leave in when you left Tootsie's?
Shit, a blue truck.
Excuse me?
Blue truck.
Blue truck. Do you know whose truck it was?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. You need to keep your voice up.
I'm not sure who truck.
You're not sure whose truck it was. Do you know who was in the truck with you?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the same people I went to the club with.
Okay. Who was it? Can you name them specifically? Who was in the truck that you were leaving Tootsie's in?
Jarrell.
And what was Jarrell? Where was Jarrell sitting in the truck?
Jarrell was driving.
He was driving. What about Mr. Hernandez? Was he in the truck?
So he was in the passenger.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Said he was in the passenger.
Passenger, front or rear?
Front.
Who else was in the vehicle?
I think it was Jarrell's friend and Avon friend.
Jarrell's friend? Is that the
Yeah.
person you described earlier as Soldier?
I don't really remember.
Okay. Referring you to page 21 of your grand jury testimony, line 25, Question, describe who was in the back and where they're sitting. Answer, I was sitting on the left behind the driver's seat,
Objection, Judge. Been asked to answer.
which actually hasn't, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Answer, I was sitting on the left behind the driver's seat, Jarrell's friend Soldier was sitting in the middle, and Aaron's friend was sitting on the right behind the passenger. Did I read that question and that answer correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So Aaron's friend Rock was in the car as well? Yes? Now, when you got in the blue SUV, the blue truck, where were you headed when you left Tootsie's?
I mean, according to my testimony, we were heading to Palm Beach.
Okay. And Tootsie's was in Miami?
Yes.
So you're heading back to Palm Beach? Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. At some point after you got going back towards Palm Beach, what happened with respect to you?
Really remember he said that in my testimony I said I fell asleep.
All right. And did you fall asleep?
I mean, I don't really remember. According to my testimony, I did.
Okay. What you told the grand jury was page 22, line 11, question, so you start to drive, and what happens during that car ride? Answer, I don't really remember what happened. I know I dozed off on the ride. Did I read that question and that answer correctly?
Yes.
Mr. Lee, are you close to concluding, or do you have more?
I think I have a little bit more, Your Honor.
All right, then I think this would be an appropriate point to pause today, to resume tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And ladies